Something weird is happening between my husband and my best friend Dana, and I don't know if my head is just making up stories or their actions are really suspicious. My husband Phil and I are married for 4 years and are both in our early 30s. We are very happy together. He loves me a lot but sometimes I have caught him lying to protect my feelings, which I do not really like. Dana is my best friend since college, and we were roommates. Just to give some background about Dana, she was in a long-term relationship with her boyfriend for 3 years, but they broke up last year. He was also very insecure about Dana and was very controlling about who Dana hangs out with. Dana's boyfriend was really jealous of Phil for some reason, and they would avoid hanging out with us. However, since the breakup, Dana and I have gotten closer and spend a lot of time shopping, going out to restaurants, etc. Phil also loves to tag along with us occasionally, but not always. Phil and Dana also get along well, and Dana has told me that if I find another Phil, I need to set up a blind date between them ASAP. 1 month ago, Phil, Dana and I had planned to go to a concert in our town. Phil was really excited as it was one of his favorite bands. I started feeling unwell the morning of the concert and just wanted to rest. Phil was disappointed but told me that we can offer our tickets to our friends, and we can see the band some other time. I didn't really want to spoil it for him, so I called few of my friends and my friend Jess, mutual friend with Dana, was happy to go to the concert in my place. Phil still wanted to cancel, but I insisted he went as I would have felt bad if he missed the concert. They all went together and enjoyed the concert. Phil kept on sending me photos all through the night. The concert ended at 11 p.m., but I slept before that due to my medication. When I woke up in the morning, I was alone in the bed. I quickly checked my messages and Phil's last message was at 11 p.m., saying they are leaving the concert, and he should be home soon after dropping Dana. I went to the living room, and Phil was sleeping on the sofa in the same clothes he wore to the concert. I waited for him to get up. I asked him about the night and when he returned home. He said that he came back home between 2 to 3 a.m. He said that there were multiple accidents outside the concert venue, and the traffic was horrible. He said he dropped Dana at her place and came home directly. I asked him why he was sleeping on sofa, and he told me that he did not want to disturb me, and also was too tired to change out of his clothes. Phil had some glitter on his clothes, but that was from dancing in the crowd at the concert. So, he just crashed on the sofa and slept immediately. It seemed plausible, and Dana also confirmed the story. However, the weird behavior started after this night. Firstly, Phil stopped tagging along with me when I was hanging out with Dana. He would come up with the most unbelievable reasons to avoid going out with me when Dana was there. Phil has also been a bit aloof with me since that night, and I have noticed him spending a lot more time in his home office playing video games at night, instead of coming to bed. 2 weeks ago, I invited Dana to our house for drinks after we went out for shopping, and she also started giving reasons to avoid coming to our place. Dana has not visited our place since that day. The only time Phil and Dana saw each other was during a house party at my friend's place last weekend. I was observing their behavior, and they both were avoiding each other. I asked Phil about why he is avoiding Dana, and he said that it's just in my imagination. Dana also said the same, but then starts giving me bullshit reasons for not coming over to our apartment. I feel in my gut that their behavior is suspicious, but I am not sure if it's just my insecurity. How do I know what is going on? I have gone through Phil's phone multiple times, but the only messages between him and Dana are very sparse, and there are no messages since that night. I feel something happened between them that night, and both are just avoiding answering even the basic questions about why they are avoiding each other. Am I the odd for assuming the worst? I really do not want to come off as insecure, but it is killing me from inside. Comments where Op has replied, Notic 666, NTA. Something for sure happened. Only question is exactly what. From what you said about her ex never liking him and her asking you to set up a date with another version of him that she may have always had a thing for him. Maybe she was drunk and she went for it. If you cannot find out on your own due to lack of evidence, you need to sit them both down together and confront them both and demand the truth. Oop, I also want to do that. But I feel that if I'm wrong, not only would I lose a friend, but Phil is also going to be upset that I'm accusing him of something horrible. I just feel in my gut that things smell funky, but I am too scared to open the Pandora's box. Lopsided Aoli 9476, have you asked your other friend about that night and see if she knows anything about their strange behavior towards each other? You should confront them either way. Maybe not accuse them of cheating but state that their behavior is not making you feel comfortable and you rather not be kept in the dark if there is an issue or something help to warrant their distance. Oop, I talked to Jess but didn't directly ask her about any suspicious behaviors. She told me that they all had a fun time. She took the train home, while Phil and Dana went to the parking lot after the concert. Few_safe_3700, something happened. Only question is what. It could be what you fear and they did something together or one of them tried and the other one said no, or might be something else but definitely something that made their relation weird. Oop, one of the reasons I'm also very concerned is because Phil came home really late. He never sleeps on the sofa, but it was probably the first time he did that in years. Plus, he had glitter all over his body, and I found glitter all over the passenger seat in his car the next day, where Dana was presumably sitting. It could all be nothing, but my mind is just going in overdrive. I just don't know how to bring up the topic without sounding accusatory or crazy. Individual Narwhal 834, was the glitter on his clothes or on his body under the clothes? Oop, it was on his clothes and arms. My suspicion is they might have hugged, which is fine. He went for a shower afterwards, so I am not sure if it was anywhere else on his body. Update, I had posted last week regarding my husband and my best friend avoiding each other after they went to a concert together last month. I really wanted to thank you all for helping me in my time of need and helping me with my tech questions. Sorry for the long post, but I confronted Phil and fucking Dana and was able to know what happened. I was briefly able to get access to Phil's phone last Friday night. I did not have time to retrieve any deleted messages. However, thanks to someone's idea, I opened his camera gallery and went through the photos he took that night. One important thing that jumped out was Dana's outfit. Dana was wearing white shirt and denim shorts to the concert. As it was an outdoor concert, she took off her shirt and was only wearing a blue bikini top. She had some glittering fake tattoos on her shoulder and back. By the end of night, she was again wearing her shirt. So, for the glitter to be on Phil's car seat and his clothes, Dana had to have taken her shirt off in the car. I was so angry and could not keep my cool anymore. I went and confronted Phil. He immediately broke down and started apologizing to me. He said that it was his fault that he took it too far and was feeling very guilty all month. He said that he did not want to tell me because I would have been very upset, and he just wanted to forget it. I told him to tell me what happened in detail, and he did. He told me that Dana and Jess both got drunk during the concert. Phil had to hold Dana while taking her to the car. Dana slept in the car for an hour, while Phil was driving. When she got up, she started playing music and singing loudly. At one point, she told Phil that it is hot in the car, and before he could lower the AC temperature, she took off her shirt. Phil said he was very uncomfortable at this point and asked Dana if it's okay he drives to our house and she could sleep in the guest room, as her apartment would have added another 30 minutes to the drive. She insisted that she wanted to go home, so Phil took her home. As she got out, she asked Phil if he could walk her back to her apartment as she still felt tipsy. After she opened the apartment door, she hugged Phil and said, "Thank you." Phil said that he was sorry that the hug lingered too long, and they had a moment. I had tears rolling down my eyes and asked him if they kissed. Phil told me of course not, but he cannot describe it, but there was definitely a moment between them. He told me that Dana invited him in, but he immediately told Dana that he had to leave and made a run to the car. I kept on asking what happened, and he just said they had a moment that he felt could not control and just got out of there. After he came home, Dana messaged Phil that he should have come inside the apartment. Phil kept on telling Dana that it was an accident, and to forget about it. But Dana kept on asking Phil if he is attracted to her and if he had a good time. Phil told Dana that he is not attracted to her and never will be and told her to not tell me about it. She agreed, and he deleted all the messages. He said that he sat on the sofa because they were messaging each other for a long time, and he did not want to hear it. I asked him if he could retrieve the messages, and he told me he deleted them and also cleaned all his archive and sent messages. He just wanted to forget the incident ever happened. I showed him my post and thanks to a comment, we went to find the messages on the SD card. Phil was right and the messages were the same as what Phil described. I am still very mad at Phil for not telling me about it in first place. This is where it got super weird. I invited Dana for brunch yesterday and met her. I told her that I talked to Phil, and he confessed to everything that happened night during the concert. I asked her I wanted to give her a chance to tell her side of the story. Dana immediately became defensive. The story was the same until they got to her apartment building. Dana said that she opened her apartment door, she gave Phil a long hug for a great evening. She said that could feel Phil wanted more but nothing happened beyond that. I asked her why she invited him inside the apartment. She told me that she wanted to offer him some water and snack as he was driving for a long time. I said that it's a really bitch move to invite my husband in her apartment at 1 a.m. at night, when she felt he wanted more from her than a hug. She said that I was just being jealous and crazy. We started arguing and she blurted out that she was not the one popping boners during the hug. I told her she is never going to see Phil again in her life, and our friendship is done. She started shouting that she knows Phil loves her and he does not act on it because of me. She went on about how I'm always complaining about Phil and do not deserve him. She said that Phil has been so nice to her after the breakup, and she feels he would leave me for her if he had a chance. She finally said that she could make Phil way happier than I ever could and he has started to realize it now. At this point, I just wanted to avoid a blowout and walked away. I talked to Phil at night and what Dana said. He confirmed to me that he did become aroused when he hugged Dana that night, and he does not know why. Dana held his hand and invited him in after the hug, and he just ran towards his car. He said he feels guilty about it, but it does not mean he has feelings for Dana. He said he is very happy being married to me and would like to keep it that way for the rest of his life. Although I am relieved that nothing happened between them, it has been hard for me to process my thoughts. I feel mad at Phil for hugging Dana in the middle of night when she is barely wearing anything. He should know better. On the other hand, I feel like an myself that my best friend had a thing for my husband, that I had no clue about and pushed both of them to go to the concert together. Comments. Winterfront 1431. Make sure you blast Dana to everyone. I'd also go as far as to change both your numbers. I still wouldn't let this go with Phil. He hid it from you, let you hang around this woman, had a moment whatever the fuck that means. And then proceeded to text her and lie to you more. I'd ask him to set up marriage counseling and to earn your trust back. Oop, yes. I have made it clear to him how upset it makes me feel. He should have seen that Dana taking off her shirt in car was a big red flag and told me about everything, instead of playing cat and mouse game with Dana. Writing_him_romance. Based on his initial unwillingness to go to the concert, I wonder if this wasn't the first time she'd put him in an awkward position? Oop, we talked about this. He said she never said or did anything like this before. But, he also pointed out that the only time he has hung out with her before when I was with them. Writing_him_romance. I'm glad you got to the bottom of it. I have to admit, for some reason this story had my hackles up. Usually I can read these and be objective, but my gut was telling me your friend was being sheastery. Oop, Dana was a sister to me for all these years. It's always the people you suspect the least. I don't know why she would do it to me. It feels so horrible. Leaks_G, don't let Phil off the hook. He made multiple bad calls that night and you and him should work on the relationship. Dana wasn't your friend because friends wouldn't hurt you like that. Oop, I won't and I'm really upset with him. This is not the first time he has hidden stuff from me to protect my feelings. He always tries to make everyone's problem his own and solve them to protect everyone around him. It's going to hurt him someday. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Son broke my dad's favorite vase. I offered to replace it multiple times, but he refused. Now he keeps complaining about it, called my son names, and got mad when I bought him a new one. When I was a teenager, my father bought a large glass vase, which he filled with wine corks. For years, it stayed on top of a small table in the living room. My family visits him monthly for lunch. Last October, my son was running around my father's living room and accidentally knocked the table over, which caused the vase to fall down and break. I immediately apologized and offered to buy a new vase. My husband and I also cleaned everything up. My father declined my offer to replace it. At the time, he said he understood it was an accident and was just glad my son hadn't gotten hurt. He was 2 years old at the time, and there was a lot of glass on the floor. During the next couple of months, I apologized and offered to pay for a new vase multiple times. My father continued saying it was fine. However, earlier this year, my father started talking about how much he loved the cork vase, and how expensive it had been back when he bought it. As the following months went by, his complaints began to escalate. He'd make comments about the fact that my son broke the vase almost every time we came over. Occasionally, he'd also joke that we should plan our visits with longer notice so that he could hide his valuables from my kid. Last week, he threw a party at his place, which we attended. A friend of his who hadn't visited in a while noticed the vase was gone and asked about it, to which my father replied that my little shit had broken it and I hadn't replaced it. My husband was nearby and heard it. After the party, I confronted my father, and we fought. He said that he had the right to complain about the fact that my son had damaged his property. I told him that while he has the right to be upset, the fact that he declined my offer to buy him a new vase does not entitle him to complain about me not doing it. He can either retract his forgiveness and work something out with me or get over the vase and stop blaming my toddler for the accident. I won't have him calling my son names over this. My father is still insisting I'm in the wrong here. Ida? Comments. Denizen K. The solution would be to buy him a vase for Father's Day, his B-Day, Christmas, every holiday buy him a vase in perpetuity. Make him so plentiful with vases he wishes he never sees another vase again. Problem solved. Do unique me one, I love the way you think. ETA, or, buy him an empty vase and bring a bottle of wine to drink to deal with your dad's crotchetiness. Deposit cork in vase. At the next party, point out how many times you had to drink to deal with his complaints. Dvorsky, I was thinking to get a new vase and some champagne. Then pop the cork which hits the vase and smashes it again. Marine_0311. NTA. FFS, your son was a toddler doing toddler things. Your dad should have toddler-proofed the house. You offered to pay for a new vase, he declined, he can STFU about it. I always thought collecting and displaying wine corks was bizarre. Hey, look at how much I drink, everyone. One small bean, I think it depends on how you do it. My in-laws pop a bottle of champagne at momentous occasions, big birthdays, anniversaries, graduations. They keep the cork and write the occasion on it. I think it's a nice way of seeing all the causes for celebration that they've had over the years. Far_nefariousness 773, I wasn't allowed to run around in others' homes. I blame the parents and your father for complaining. Also, why wouldn't you just buy a new vase anyways? My dog broke my dad's glass water bottle. It was a special bottle that cost him $100. He said don't worry about it. Since he had it on the edge of the couch and all my pup did was walk by. I literally found the same bottle and shipped it to his home. He was super happy, although he said he didn't need another. When my friends come over we go to a park so the kids can run. At my grandma's house, if the kids want to play, we sit on the porch. Children should learn boundaries of where to run and not to run. He's a toddler, so he should have had some toys or took him outside. I can't imagine allowing my child to run around my dad's house. He has a lot of glass. He's wrong for complaining, but you also should have just replaced it. Space Ace case. This. Her kid broke it, why would she not just replace it? What's this BS about asking if she had to? A sane person would just replace it. Far_nefariousness 773, right, and even if he said no. Once I heard him complain once, I would have replaced it. That way if he did complain, I could immediately ask him about the one I replaced. Oop, commenting here because this is the most voted comment about this subject. I understand the assumption that I allow my toddler to freely run around people's homes. That is not the case. In this specific situation, my son started running around seconds before the accident happened. I just wasn't quick enough to stop him. In subsequent visits, to anyone, including my father, my husband and I have managed to stop him sooner. My son is generally a quiet kid, so this behavior isn't that common. Also, I offered to replace the vase more than once that day. He said no, so I didn't buy one. After that refusal, I had no reason to believe my father still wanted me to replace the vase. If someone gave me a similar offer and I declined, I would not expect them to go through with it, nor would I blame them for not doing so. In response to a deleted comment, Oop explains why this has become a problem now. I haven't mentioned the vase in months. My father is the only one doing so. The only reason I'm getting involved now it's because his comments are getting worse. Dragon 34, how old is your dad? Hostility and personality changes can be linked to dementia. Oop, 60 update. After reading your comments, I decided to offer to buy my father a new vase again. I explicitly told him this would be the last time I'd make that offer. If he said no and continued to complain about it, he wouldn't be allowed to see my son until he'd calmed down. He eventually agreed. The store he'd bought the original vase from does not exist anymore, so I started doing some research. I found one I thought was very similar at a furniture store near my place. I'd bought vases from them before, so I knew they had great quality. On Saturday, we went on our monthly lunch at my father's place, and took the opportunity to give him the new vase. He seemed grateful at the time, and had a cute moment with my son as they filled it up with the corks. I thought this was done. But the next day, my father called me. He had looked up the new vase online and noticed it was less expensive than he expected. Then he asked, "Are you sure this is the best you could find?" That's when I said screw it. I'm done with his passive aggressiveness. I told my father we're no longer going to his place for anything. If he wants to see my family, he can come to ours. He protested, but I held my ground. My father did not communicate his wishes at any point, and still complained about the outcome. I'm done watching my family be accused of being bad people, and I don't want this behavior to extend to my son any more than it already has. So this is where we stand now. My father doesn't like driving to my place, so I'm not sure about the future of our monthly lunches. I love my father, but I'm extremely disappointed in him. If all this means I will see him less than usual for a while, I might be a little glad. The time apart might be good for us. My greatest concern is my son's relationship with his grandfather, which I will try to encourage. The vase I bought would roughly translate to $100. I don't live in the US. My father told me he doesn't remember the original's price, only that it was more expensive than that. He was also not attached to the vase itself, but to the corks that were inside it, which he managed to salvage. I'm certain of the new vase's quality. Comments, Art Shapiro, NTA wow. Unless the new vase is obviously shoddy, which isn't the case from your description, his behavior is bizarrely ridiculous. I think you've made the best possible solution to this issue. At this point, it's up to him to humble up. Oop, I don't regret buying the vase, but I've done my part. I'd never react to this the way my father did. And I'm very confident about its quality. Vandriesen, NTA. He says he's over it, but he keeps bringing it up. It's the same thing as somebody doing you a favor and never letting you hear the end of it. Did they really do you a favor? He was fine with the vase until he looked up the price. What difference does the price make if he was originally okay with it? The level of pettiness is amazing. So the price of the vase is more important to him than a relationship with his grandchild. Nice. Your kid is better off not being exposed to that kind of BS. Apart ad 6518. NTA he had looked up the new vase online and noticed it was less expensive than he expected. Who does that with a family member when they've done their best to put things right? My greatest concern is my son's relationship with his grandfather, which I will try to encourage. Kudos for that. But your dad needs to realize what's important and make an effort. Oop, I'm hoping he does. I grew up pretty distant from all my grandparents, so it's always been important to me that my kid gets to be closer to his family. That said, I'm very well aware that it's my father's responsibility to make an actual effort here. Wienerold, please make sure your son doesn't become the butt of grandpa's "here's the little shit who breaks things" jokes. A funny family story can leave a permanent imprint on the target. Apprehensive Yak 7741. This gives me flashbacks of how I was made to feel horrible for losing the pitch pipe that came with my great-grandfather's violin. Like my dad lost his right to the family heirloom because my grandmother was so offended. I looked up the cost of a replacement pipe, in its original box, $4 on eBay. My grandmother made me feel like a monster over $4. Floridian reader, I would like to throw you a different line. Have you considered the fact that your dad might have dementia? A dementia patient can fixate on things, and ask repetitive questions about them. It just now occurred to me that your dad may well be experiencing early signs of dementia. If it is dementia, you can get him into treatment which may slow the progression of the disease. I'm a social worker who works with dementia patients. So long, my best friend. I know people like this. They are never happy with any solution and just want to complain to be the center of attention. Exhausting and good riddance to him. Bending college grad. Same. I could see it pretty much immediately since those like him imprinted on my brain. What gets me is he lied. He was lying at his own party saying they never offered to replace it. That's how we can tell he is a whiner who gets off on it.